Jesus' claims to divinity and his role in history have been analyzed extensively. Here's an examination of how Jesus' claims withstand historical analysis. 1. Historical evidence for Jesus' existence. Evidence. Historical accounts from Christian and non-Christian sources affirm that Jesus of Nazareth was a real historical figure. Josephus. A first-century Jewish historian mentions Jesus as a wise teacher crucified under Pontius Pilate. Tacitus. A Roman historian refers to Jesus' execution and the early Christians who worshipped him. Significance. These external accounts confirm Jesus' life, crucifixion, and the impact of his teachings, aligning with the gospel narratives. 2. Credibility of the gospel accounts. Eyewitness testimony. The Gospels were written by those who knew Jesus directly or relied on first-hand accounts, e.g., Matthew, John, Luke, and Mark. Consistency. Despite being written by different authors for different audiences, the Gospels share remarkable consistency in recording Jesus' teachings, miracles, crucifixion, and resurrection. Historical accuracy. Archaeological discoveries such as the Pool of Bethesda, John 1-15, and Pontius Pilate's inscription affirm the Gospel writer's attention to detail. Challenge to skeptics. If the Gospel writers fabricated or exaggerated Jesus' claims, why would they endure persecution and death to defend them? 3. Jesus' claims to divinity. Key. Claims. John 8:58. Before Abraham was born, I am. John 10:30. I and the Father are one. John 14:6. I am the way, the truth, and the life. Reaction of his contemporaries. Jesus' claims provoked strong reactions from Jewish leaders who accused him of blasphemy, as recorded in Mark 14:61-64. These responses indicate they understood his statements as claims to divinity. 4. Miracles as evidence. Recorded miracles. Healing the blind, John 9:1-7. Walking on water, Matthew 14:22-33. Feeding the 5,000, Mark 6:30-44. Raising Lazarus from the dead, John 11:1-44. Historical context. These events were public and attested to by multiple witnesses. The Jewish leaders didn't deny the miracles, but attributed them to other sources, Mark 3:22. Challenge to skeptics. If these accounts were fabrications, why were they not refuted by contemporaries who could have debunked them? 5. The resurrection. Central claim. Jesus' resurrection is the cornerstone of Christianity. 1 Corinthians 15:14. The empty tomb and post-resurrection appearances were pivotal in convincing his followers of his divinity. Historical evidence. The empty tomb. Even Jesus' opponents did not deny it, but claimed the body was stolen. Matthew 28:11-15. Post-resurrection appearances. Over 500 witnesses saw Jesus alive after his death. 1 Corinthians 15:6. Transformation of disciples. The disciples, once fearful, boldly preached Jesus' resurrection even at the cost of their lives. This transformation underscores their belief in its truth. 6. Impact of Jesus' teachings. Uniqueness. Jesus' teachings emphasized love for enemies, forgiveness, humility, and self-sacrifice, which were revolutionary in his cultural context. Historical legacy. The spread of Christianity transformed the Roman Empire and shaped Western civilization. This enduring influence suggests the extraordinary nature of Jesus' claims and teachings. 7. Prophecies fulfilled by Jesus' prophecies. Micah 5:2, born in Bethlehem. Isaiah 53, suffering servant who bears humanity's sins. Zechariah 9:9, Entering Jerusalem on a donkey. Probability: the fulfillment of dozens of messianic prophecies in one person is statistically improbable without divine intervention. 8. Criticisms addressed fabrication. Argument. Critics argue the Gospel writers invented Jesus' divinity. However, the Gospels were written within decades of Jesus' life, during the lifetimes of eyewitnesses who could confirm or refute the accounts. Early Christian persecution undermines the idea of fabrication. Why would the apostles risk their lives for something they knew was false? Myth argument. Some claim Jesus' divinity was mythologized over time. However, the early creeds, such as Philippians 2:6-11, affirm Jesus' divinity and predate the Gospels. 9. Challenges to skeptics. Explain the resurrection. If Jesus didn't rise from the dead, how do we account for the empty tomb, the transformation of his disciples, and the growth of Christianity? Address prophecies. How do we explain the precise fulfillment of Old Testament prophecies in Jesus? Account for impact. How does a mere human figure inspire a global movement that endures for millennia, changing history and cultures? Conclusion. The claims of Jesus withstand historical scrutiny due to the convergence of eyewitness testimony, archaeological evidence, fulfilled prophecy, and the transformative impact of his life and teachings. Skeptics are invited to critically examine the evidence and provide alternative explanations for the profound historical footprint left by Jesus of Nazareth.